Hello, today I'd like to introduce you to Will Scudder. Will is actually my personal trainer. He and I have worked together for 6 years. I mean, it's like being married almost. And Will is, as well, he's a strength and conditioning coach. He helps people, he helps rehabilitation where people are injured and or infirm or in some way. And I'm going to let him tell you about it, because he's actually a man of much knowledge and much experience in the personal training field. So can you introduce yourself, please, Will?
Thank you for the nice words and the compliments. So my name's Will Scudder. I'm a strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer. And I've worked with a vast variety of people, from semi-professional athletes to those in their 70s and 80s. And the good thing about my experience is that working with such a range of people, working from injury rehabilitation to sort of general population, is you get that knowledge to help improve things other than just the aesthetics, what people look like. It's one thing that we've spoken about before, Jane.
A lot, yes.
Yeah, with training, it's not just how do I look, which nowadays, especially with social media and things, seems to be what the main emphasis is on. But fitness, exercise, resistance training, strength training gives you a lot more than just a change of appearance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's sad that actually that's how exercise gets sold. You know, if you do this 12-week program, you'll get a beach body or whatever, or you'll tone yourself up. But there's much more to it than, as you say, than aesthetics, than what you look like. So what are the advantages, do you think, of or do you know, of resistance training?
So it's one thing that, again, we've spoken about a lot in the past. Strength training or resistance training. So resistance training, for those who don't know, it just means weighted exercises. So something that resists your body. So something like running, for example, wouldn't be resistance training, but weight training or training with a band, for example, would be. So the benefit it has on anyone's body is that it improves your metabolism, improves your strength, improves your bone density, improves something called proprioception, which is basically how you balance and how you move your body. And as people get older, something that's really important to do is to stop that degradation of your strength and your balance. It's something that happens with all of us inevitably as our hormones change, and as we get older, we lose bone density, we lose strength, we lose balance. And it's something that's a big issue with older populations in terms of falls and injuries, and resistance training in particular. So that strength training can really help prevent that.
Yeah. I mean, my own experience is that I have to work harder to stay fitter than maybe I did when I was 40 or something. That as you get older, you have to. It's harder to maintain it because of the changes in hormones and everything. Things are naturally going downhill, but that's absolutely why resistance training is much more important as you get older. I mean, it's really frustrating to go to a gym and the vast majority of people in there are young people usually, and it is important for young people, obviously, but I think resistance training is even more important for older people. And I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot. I think you'd agree with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's resistance training for those over 60 is more important than it is for those in their 20s and 30s. There's that belief that you're coming up to retirement age, move into a bungalow, take it easy. You literally will die quicker doing that. The less you move, the quicker your body will degrade. That's the bottom line. And unfortunately, like you say, as you get older and those hormones do drop, you will inevitably lose strength and muscle mass and balance. But you can prevent that and even reverse it through resistance training. That proprioception that I talked about, that balance and the ability to move your body, is one of the best ways to help prevent falls. So it's like you say, the gym, resistance training, weights aren't for those people who are young and want to look good on the beach. It's really, really important for those who are older.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the proprioceptor cells are in the muscles, I think, are they? Is that right?
Yeah, it's to do with the way the neurological side of your body, so your nerves and your brain's ability to move muscles and the interaction with the muscles and cells. That's basically what it is. So proprioception is you're walking across some muddy ground, your foot slips, being able to move your other foot quick enough and accurately enough to prevent a fall. And if you don't move your body, that starts to go down. And especially with weakness, is even if you can move your leg or your arm to help prevent that fall, you may not have the strength to stop it. So something that's really common in older populations is facial injuries. So men and women have falls and they hit their face or they cause damage to their face. And that's simply because they don't have the proprioception to put their hands out in time. So they fall and they literally won't know that they're falling because they haven't got that balance anymore. Or conversely, it can be that they have put their arm out or their leg out, but don't have the strength then to stop a fall. And unfortunately, it falls in those who are older. So if you do break a major bone over 80, you have a 50% chance then of dying in the next 3 years. It causes so much trauma to the body. So if you break something like a femur, your hip, the trauma it causes to your body through that break and then the subsequent surgeries or time in hospital had a really, really degenerative effect on your health. So just by doing some strength training, if you can prevent that, or you know, it may not even prevent the fall, but because you have better bone density or better strength, you don't break your femur, you don't break your hip. That literally can save your life.
Yeah, I mean, I would completely endorse that, because one of the surprises for me, because I wasn't aware of this proprioceptor benefit, was that you know, I'm always rushing around and I'm really clumsy, so I stumble quite a bit one way and another because I'm busy thinking about something else. And but I've found that since I've been weight training regularly, doing resistance training regularly, that when I stumble, I can actually recover really fast. So I'm starting to fall and I'm back up almost before I know it. Whereas before I would have had my hand out trying to stop myself. Now I can actually just pull myself back because my body's strong enough to do that. So for me, it's turned out to be an amazing benefit that I was completely unaware of before I started.
That's a good sort of real world example. Like, again, we work together a lot, so you have had your occasional falls off bikes and things, and haven't, touch wood, had a major injury since we've been training. So it's something that's really important, and I think it's something that should be pushed out and advertised a lot more, that older people should take part in some sort of strength training and resistance training to help prevent. Because it's not only the facts, like I spoke about before, if you break a major bone, how damaging it is to your health, not just during that incident, but longer term. But it's confidence as well. You know, if you're someone who has had a bad fall, you don't feel stable, you don't feel strong, you know your balance is poor, you lose confidence. And what happens then is you don't go for a walk with your friend, you don't go see the family on the beach because you're worried about the ground being soft, and that has a real effect on your quality of life. So it's not just the how do I look, it's I can improve the quality of my life, I can help reduce my risk of injury through just simple resistance training, getting stronger and moving your body.
Great. And I mean, we've talked about this as well. When I train with Will, we often have between sets, we have a recovery phase, and sometimes it's like a minute or 2 minutes, and we tend to talk about all this stuff from time to time, don't we? I've forgotten what I was going to say there. Oh yeah, I mean, you get. I know in every gym I've ever been in, I haven't been in that many gyms, but you see two women coming together. It's usually two women rather than men. Two women in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and they come into the gym for the first time. And they get on the cross trainer or some other piece of cardio, and they talk while they're doing that. And then they pick up dumbbells really, really like dumbbells and usually carry on talking while they're using the dumbbells. And they come a few times and then they stop coming. And, you know, when I talk to women like that, they go, oh, it's really boring, or it doesn't work for me. And you and I would say, well, you're not doing it properly. That's why it doesn't work for you. So can you say something? I mean, I think people often underestimate how much weight they, you know, how heavy the dumbbells need to be. You know, that people will start with a dumbbell that weighs 1 pound or 2 pounds or 1 kilo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that people's opinion of it is changing, which is really good. But certainly since I've been personal training, which is sort of 10 years or so now, I remember when I first started, that often, again, with a lot of times with women, there would be a sort of fear of doing weighted exercises in case they got big, in case they put on lots of muscle.
Yes.
There's that sort of image of sort of bodybuilder women and things, and the reality is the difference in testosterone between men and women is huge. Men will put on muscle a lot easier than women, and the bottom line is just doing some weights, you're not going to suddenly get big and strong. It's like the analogy of, it's like being afraid to drive a car in case you turn into Lewis Hamilton and suddenly become
yes. Oh, that's good.
It's something that the attitude has changed a lot, actually, which is really good. Resistance training in itself won't just suddenly make you big and strong, but what's important is that you do push your body. There's something called overload, and overload is how our body changes to its surroundings. So the bottom line with strength training is, and resistance training is, you have to use a weight heavy enough to achieve overload. Your body doesn't achieve overload, which is doing more than it normally does, it won't change. Simple as that. It's like saying with your stairs at home, you don't grow really big, strong legs by walking up the stairs every day, because you do it every day. Your body gets used to it and you no longer achieve overload. Same as in a gym. So whilst initially when people first start, they can use light weights, what people often do, men and women, is stay too light. And like you say, they underestimate the ability of their body to do something. And that's something that a personal trainer or some sound advice can really help with, to give people that confidence that actually you can work those weights up, you can push yourself a little bit more. And the bottom line is, the more you push yourself, the better that overload, the quicker and the better your body will adapt.
Yeah.
Build that.
Yeah. And then that becomes exciting. You know, I mean, particularly if you've never done anything and you go to a gym and you start working out and working out properly, doing this overload, you very quickly see improvements in what you can do. I mean, you get a lot of it early on, you get a lot of improvements. The improvements slow down when you've been doing it for quite a long time. You don't quite see the same speed of improvements as you do when you first go to the gym. So I think, you know, these women who say, oh, you know, I've tried the gym, it didn't work, it's usually because they were always using weights well within their comfort zone. Yeah. And so they actually never saw any difference in their body. They'd come along and do the same routine every time, using the same lightish weights. Yeah.
You get it a lot with men and women. What tends to happen is people will start training or start the gym. They'll notice that sudden sort of early on changes. And like you say, what happens is they slow down. So if you start doing an exercise with a certain weight, within the first sort of couple of months, your body will change a lot. You'll build a lot of strength. You might drop some body fat, might build some muscle. But if you stick to that weight, that will stop happening. And that's what people tend to do, is they find their comfort zone, they stick to it, then that overload stops because you're not pushing your body past what it normally would do. And then the adaptations will stop. Your body will not change unless it requires to change. So unless you do something that it has to adapt to, it won't, which is unfortunately a lot of people sort of fall into that trap. They'll spend a couple of months there, stick to that certain weight or certain intensity of training, whether it's cardio or strength training, it's exactly the same. If you don't push yourself past what you normally do, your body won't change. And then they stop seeing those results and they quit often, which again, is something that can be changed if people train a little bit more intelligently, if they knew sort of what to do to stop that sort of plateau and regression.
Yeah, yeah. And what would you say to, I mean, well, as you know, I take video, well, you take videos of me in the gym, and I post them on Instagram. And I was showing somebody I knew who's in his 70s, I guess, and he's quite frail and he's got a bit of a shake. I don't think he's had a neurological diagnosis, but he shakes quite a bit. And I was showing it to him and he got really distressed and was going, Jane, you mustn't do this. You mustn't do this. You mustn't do it. And I went, why not? And he said, you'll hurt your back. You'll hurt your back. And I'm sure you've heard people say, oh, well, you know, I can't go to the gym because I've got a bad back, or I can't go to the gym because I don't want to get a bad back.
Yeah. It's so again, it's just knowing sort of why that happens. The bottom line is the stronger you are, the better protected your back is. Back injuries are often related to discs, which is a little sort of gel-like substance between vertebrae. If you overload one of those, so if your spine goes too far one way or in a position your body doesn't like, you can overload a disc and you can slip a disc or compact a disc and get a fairly serious back injury. The stronger your body is, the stronger the muscles on your back, the less likely that is to happen. So it's interesting when people say that, because it's someone who probably is at high risk of back injury because they're not strong, telling someone who's getting stronger that they're going to injure their back, and it should be the other way around.
Yes.
The analogy I use with people is, you know, everyone has to carry their shopping. Everyone has to pick someone up off the floor every now and then. Everyone has to reach inside the car to get something. You don't look at a lorry and say, oh, that lorry shouldn't be pulling that trailer because it might hurt itself, might damage the engine. Like, a lorry is big and strong, and that's what it's designed to do. If you saw a little scooter trying to pull a big trailer, you would say that's not supposed to do that. And that's what you want to do. You want to build your body to something that can shift those heavy weights and can happily carry that shopping up the stairs or reach in the car because you move better. And you are protecting your body by pushing it past what it normally wants to do. And it's just getting that belief sort of into the public space, because people who don't exercise often don't understand exactly what's happening in that exercise. And yeah, they often will say, oh, mind your back. And well, my back's probably a lot stronger. And
well, that's what I said to him. I said, I've got a really strong back, you know. And he obviously was like, oh, no, I couldn't convince him. He was never going to be convinced that actually what he ought to do is start going to the gym. And obviously he would need to start really, really, really light, and preferably with a personal trainer to help him to make sure he did things correctly. Yeah.
I mean, with the training we've done, sort of several times a week, you'll pick things up off the floor up to 70 kilos. How many times have you done it and gone, oh, my back, and been injured?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's you know,
I remember really clearly when I first went to the gym and picked up 5 kilo dumbbells, which is 10 pounds for those of you who are in pounds. They were really, really heavy. And I did a bit of a workout with them. This was actually before I met you. And then when I went to put them back on the rack, which was, I guess, about waist height, I couldn't lift both of them up onto the rack because it was too hard, too difficult. So I put them down on the floor and then pick each one up in turn and put them on the rack. And, you know, I remember really clearly the first time I went to put 5 kilo dumbbells away, and it was like, oh, I can do this. I mean, there's lots of, you know, and I think when people go to the gym, those are the sort of things they need to be concentrating on. I think, you know, so many people just seem to judge themselves by what the tape measure's saying, what their weight is saying. And in a way, that's a real minefield you're getting yourself into. But, you know, what you should be thinking about is how you're improving your functional strength so that you can do things more. And now, I mean, I don't know, maybe 12, 14 kilo dumbbells I can put on the rack, I guess. Yeah.
Comfortably. And it's like it's something you don't even really think about anymore. You just go and do it. And that's that confidence that I spoke about earlier, that I think is really important for people to have confidence in their body and their body's ability to do something, because it's one less worry that you have to think about of the day. You know, you don't carry the dumbbells back and think, oh, these are heavy. And you know, when you're at home, you grab the shopping and you're not going to think, oh, this is heavy. You just do it because you're now a lot stronger than you were, and you have that inbuilt confidence now that I know my body can do this, so it's not a worry anymore.
Yeah, I mean, recently I wanted to clean under a side table by the side of the bed, and I thought, well, I could drag it sideways across the carpet, and I thought, oh no, I'll just pick it up, and it's really, really quite a heavy solid oak table, so I just bent down a solid oak chest. So I just bent down and got my hands under it and picked it up and put it on the table and did the vacuuming and then put it back again. And after I'd done it, I went, oh, wow, that was, you know, that's a real world thing that I can do. And maybe not everybody wants to vacuum under their chests and things.
Like that, you know, little things like that add up. It just makes stuff easier. It's something that you don't have to ask for help for, or don't have to awkwardly try and drag out of the way. It's you can do it because your body's capable.
Yeah, so it builds confidence and it builds a sense of independence, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's actually a study the University of Alabama did on older people who weight train, older people who don't, and they actually found those who did resistance training and weight training were more likely to do spontaneous activity. So if someone they know is doing something, or a family member is doing something, because they have that higher confidence in their body, they're more likely to say, oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Which again, in terms of quality of life, is quite an important thing.
Oh, that's a really interesting study, isn't it? That's a really, I can see, I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it, when you think about it, that if you don't trust your body, then you start to, you know, the problem is if people don't trust their physical body to keep them upright, to do all the necessary things, then their world starts to shrink. And because they're doing less, it gradually shrinks more and more. You know, one of the things I see when I'm about coming to the gym is that what I'm trying to do is to keep pushing so that I have as big a life as possible, and not let things encroach so that I'm doing less and less, because that way you just get more and more fearful and more incapacitated and more frail. Yeah,
exactly. It's little things that some people may not think about, but say they're going with their family to a park, and you know that you're going to have to walk around a long time with the kids, and if you're someone who doesn't have confidence in yourself and in your body, that can seem quite daunting, like, oh, I'm going to have to stand up all day or walk around this uneven ground in a field. But if you do have confidence in your body, you know its ability, that's no longer a thing, which, like you say, it makes your world just a bigger place.
Yeah. And obviously you're a personal trainer, and you believe that working with a personal trainer is a good idea. Now, I mean, obviously not everybody can afford a personal trainer, but some people can. So there'll be people who are watching this who maybe can afford to have a personal trainer, but haven't thought about doing it. I mean, one of the things that got in my way of having a personal trainer was this sort of feeling, well, if I have a personal trainer, I'll have to really step up to the mark somehow. You know, this says that I'm really committed to it. Do I want to be that committed to it? But in fact, for me, I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, what would you say are the advantages for people of working with a personal trainer?
A lot of it, I think, past the obvious, sort of being shown how to do exercises properly and technique and how to build a workout suitable for you. I think one of the big things for a personal trainer is it holds you to account. You know, if you're meeting me on a Wednesday at 9 a.m., you're meeting me on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. It's not, oh, I might go to the gym then. And, you know, often people, especially when they first start, you can talk yourself out of it. like with anything, trying to make a positive change, anyone trying to make a positive change in their life, a lot of the time you'll talk yourself out of it. It's not part of your routine yet, it's not part of your habit. But if you're meeting this person Wednesday 9 a.m, you've already paid for it, you're going to go and meet them at 9 a.m, you're going to do a workout. And like we spoke about earlier, when you start seeing those results, when you start seeing those changes, that's when the real motivation comes, and that's when you can start doing it on your own. A lot of clients I have are people who have first started, need that initial sort of push and a bit of advice to get started, and then they're on their own, and years down the line they're still training, which as a PT is something that I really like to see. It's someone who's really sort of quite daunted by the gym and, oh, this is a scary place, who now on their own is happily working out.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, and also because it's very easy not to go to the gym if you don't, if you're in a bad mood or you're feeling a bit low or a bit anxious. But there's lots of evidence actually that working out, well, any form of exercise actually, but I think working out is particularly good for this, is really helps your mental state. Yeah,
absolutely. You get there's the obvious endorphin release due to exercise and getting heart rate up, but there's something that people don't often think about as well, where there's that subconscious satisfaction. You've gone to do something that's difficult, something that you may not necessarily really enjoy doing because, again, you're pushing your body, but afterwards you get that sense of satisfaction. I've done something good today. I've done something that benefits me and my body. It was difficult, but I still did it. So it's not just the hormone related side of things. You get that psychological aspect of you've done something difficult and you've achieved it. It doesn't matter. I speak to people a lot about this. It doesn't matter what your ability is to begin with, as long as you do something that is difficult for you and you push yourself past what you normally do. That's enough. And you keep building on that, building on that, building on that. No one steps foot in the gym and is immediately super fit, super strong, looks how they want to. It takes time, and it's just that consistency of doing a little bit more every week that really mentally as well as physically is good for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we all need to be making the same effort. I mean, if you train, you are working at whatever effort, you're working hard, but you're lifting far more than I am. But I am working, hopefully, at the same effort level. Yeah. We're both working hard at the same effort level, but because you're younger, because you're a man, because you're X, Y, and Z, you're lifting heavier weights than me, but our effort is the same. And I think that's a bit that older people often don't understand, that their effort should be the same as if they were 25. But the effect of that effort is that they won't be lifting the same level of weights that they were lifting when they were 25.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as you put it then is right. It's the effort that makes the change, not what weights you're doing. Like someone who's younger, generally speaking, will be able to do more weight. But just having that effort, that's all you need to do, is to put that effort in, and your body will start changing for you. But yeah, like you say, it's all it requires is effort. It requires effort to push yourself. It takes effort to go to the gym. It takes discipline to keep it up. But as long as you've got that, it doesn't matter alongside that if you're not doing big weights. It's just doing something more than you normally do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anything else you want to add? Have I missed anything? Is there anything else you think you want to share with people? I mean, the main things I wanted to get across today is just to let people know how resistance training, strength training benefits more than just how they look. Like we spoke about, it benefits reducing injury risk, it benefits bone density, benefits reducing your risk of falls, and if you do fall, again, reducing the damage that could cause. But other big things are, it just gives you confidence in yourself. It makes you more outgoing. Like I said, they've done studies on it where people are more likely to do spontaneous activity because they're more confident in themselves. There is a lot of fear of sort of injuries in terms of training, which is where getting a personal trainer can help. So if you're someone who's thinking about it but is unsure whether they'll be doing things right, or is a little bit wary of going to a gym on their own, get a personal trainer. You don't have to stick with them for years on end. Just get a few sessions in to begin with. Make sure you're doing the right exercises. Make sure the technique is right, and from there, just keep it up, keep going. You know, like you spoke about before, you can really expand your world just by getting stronger, getting fitter, improving your balance and how you move. It doesn't have to be you're beating yourself every day in the gym. It doesn't have to be you've got to shift lots of weight. It doesn't have to be you've got to restrict your calories all day every day. It's you know, it's changing your body for the better, which then helps everything from what I spoke about to seeing your family a bit more or getting out and about more. There's real benefits to resistance training, and it's something that's starting to change, but that belief as we get older that we need to start taking it easy, don't push ourselves too hard, is rubbish. If you want to live longer and if you want a better quality of life as you get older, then do some weight training.
Yeah.
Simple.
I saw some statistics recently about in Europe, and it was saying that on average, people now spend 20 to 25% of their lives not at full health.
Yeah.
Which is a heck of a long time, isn't it? 20 to 25% of your life. And a part of that, a big part of that, a big piece of the puzzle of not being one of those people is to do with resistance strength training. If you do resistance and strength training, you're likely to enhance your life significantly. You're likely to live for longer, and you're likely to live more healthily for more years as well within that life.
So a lot of morbidity, so a lot of diseases these days that get worse as we get older are lifestyle related. Things like diabetes, heart disease, obesity. A lot of that's preventable, and a lot of that is related to lifestyle. It's not something that inevitably is going to happen, but it's something that's going to happen because we are not active enough, or we're eating too much food for activity levels. So being more active, doing strength training as well as sort of general fitness, and just being more active can help reduce that. And a lot of those statistics for losing quality of life and spending 20 to 25% of our life in a poor state are to do with those preventable diseases. So
yeah,
the bottom line with training is not only will you feel more confident in your body anyway, but reducing the possibility of those diseases, or even the symptoms of those diseases, will help improve that as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a real clarion call. Get out, get in the gym, and enjoy your life more.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's a lot of the things. A lot of people come up sort of reasons why they can't do it, but the bottom line is it's, you know, an hour or two a week is enough to make big changes. Yeah. Why not?
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you. It's very strange to talk to you in this way because I'm so used to you talking to me and then making me lift some more heavy weights. So
I can't do anything now, dear. I can't make you do some deadlifts. So.
But thank you very much. You're a great personal trainer, and just lots of great information too for everyone. So thank you very much indeed.
Cool, thanks, James. Good to be on. You're a great client as well.
Thank you.